Hello, everyone. It's Monday morning on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have a lovely co-host here. Hi, ladies.
Good morning.
How you doing, Jumoke? How was your weekend?
My weekend was very, very interesting. I went biking on Saturday morning. I went for a biking squad. And then yesterday was a very restful day because it rained through Saturday night into yesterday. So all the heavy plans that I had yesterday, I had to stay home to rest. But it was a beautiful way to rest, watching the VMAs and all the attires and it was interesting watching all the music. And then I watched the VMAs, the MTV Music Video Awards. It was really nice. And then I watched on Periscope Your View Ladies Meets Media.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it. It was too risky, to leave the home at the time, driving alone. But it was very interesting, and we're very honored. Thank you, and the organizers.
Mixed Media. We had a great time last night. It was fun. I was telling the ladies before you came in that we felt really honored. I mean, our producer really went all out. And I mean, we felt like really special. Like, now wow,
Nice.
But it was really nice. Thank you so much, Mixed Media, for honoring us yesterday. We really appreciate it. And thanks to Dekule Gold and Sound Sultan, who showed up with their team. I mean, we had a full house.
I loved Sound Sultan's speech of be unique. Your uniqueness will sell, and don't try to be like everyone else in the industry. Just stand out, It was
good.
nice.
Thank
Very
God.
nice.
Talk about how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Very busy.
Yeah, I was reading about some event you went for, and I'm like, you didn't even tell us about it.
Yeah, speakers home.
My goodness me. Okay, so be doing your thing on your side, no problem.
She's trying to be a speaker now.
Right. So
Speakers home. So this was it was an in-house meeting. It wasn't open to everybody. It was open to those that have been alumni of the Speakers Academy. But then we're going to do something in November that will be open to everybody. That will be really, really big. It was a very interesting weekend. I learned a lot, and I met really, really people that I was able to connect with immediately. You just meet some people that your spirit just connects with them. You're able to discuss. I felt bad I couldn't make the program. My husband said he was too tired, that he couldn't drive, and I just couldn't imagine driving out that late and imagining when I would come back. That was the thing. So that's where picking your call would have helped me out, because I'll have just joined you.
Or you could just say, I can't make it, and it's okay. It was all right. But I'm glad you couldn't make
I
it.
thought I couldn't make it.
I found out late. How was your weekend, Auntie?
Fantastic. Dramatic weekend.
I had what
With your
happened.
matter.
You don't want to.
With your matter.
There's no need to share, don't worry. But I had fun yesterday. We made Adekule Gold sing that song that Mariah is always dancing.
Are you working in music?
Empty barrel.
So he's asked us, when am I coming on the show? I said, we are waiting. When you're ready to come on the show. And Sound Sultan was really, really deep, And I love the part when he said that he stopped singing to castigate the government. What he focuses now on is talking to the minds of people, because, the truth is that when your mind is ready, that change will come. So he's talking now to the minds of people.
And I was impressed that a senator was in there, and a member of the House of Rep, Tunde Brahmo, were there. And I was like, for them to actually leave what they're doing to actually attend that kind of event, it means a lot. That we have a government that actually listens to us.
May I mention their names?
Yes.
Senator Gbenga Obada and Honorable Tunde Brahmo.
Both of them were there, and they really could. I mean, they expressed their views, and they actually shared their concern about the industries and what they're doing. The government is doing to help promote the industries. That was really impressive. I was really proud.
I like our new mugs.
Oh, our mugs.
Yes.
Very nice.
With our pictures.
Celebrate our mugs. Who's the guy that gave us again?
His name is Freddie. Freddie, thank you so very much for this mug.
Freddie, we love the new mugs. Very nice. They have
With
your
our
view on this
pictures.
side.
They have our pictures on them.
And they have our pictures over here.
Very
That's so
nice.
nice. of you. Thanks, Freddie. Appreciate it. Don't worry, we'll find for something for our guests too.
No, he's sending one in for the guests today.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're laughing, eh? Let's start with the punch. Falaye, we need to be doing like backstage comments and record it and put it online, because the things that happen backstage is crazy. Okay, The Punch. Falaye links Jonathan to 100 million naira election funds scam. Tenders email to EFCC as evidence. Picture here of Lekki, Lagos, Sokoto, Ketu, Lagos, and Sokoto also flooded. Floods, windstorm wreak havoc in Lagos and Sokoto. Naira falls further to 414 naira to the dollar. 10 die in Ibadan auto crash. Man sets wife, daughter ablaze over property and flees. Avengers accept dialogue, reject Soyinka and Kalu as negotiators. Nigeria will be among top business-friendly nations in 2019, says Buhari. PDP crisis, BOT set for stormy meeting today. Jibrin should undergo psychiatric test, says reps. Lots of stories I like to pick here. The Falaye story is interesting. The human angle story is also interesting.
I would have loved the presidency zone, but the human angle story broke my heart.
Yes.
Gbemisola, a 43-year-old woman, and her 11-year-old daughter, Dolapo, were set ablaze by Gbemisola's husband, Mr. Joshua. He set another son. He had poured petrol.
His own Samson.
He had poured petrol on his own son, but I think he escaped. Now, the Gbemisola's other son.
Yes, that's when I escaped. 16-year-old.
Was saying that his name is Joshua. I think Joshua is their surname because the father's name also is Joshua.
Okay.
Anyway, Joshua was telling us how what led to him killing them was that Gbemisola had refused to sell their 3-bedroom flats. Joshua, the man, had lost his job
3 months ago.
And he told Gbemisola to sell the house for him to start a business. She refused that. The house that she had sweat to build, she wasn't going to sell it. He used to beat her. She owned the house. They used to live in Iyanopaja in Lagos, but they moved to their house in area Career Estate in Ogun State. And she built the house, she owned it.
And he set her ablaze, and also his own biological son, because he had a son also outside.
From another woman.
He said both son, daughter, and the mother. He actually also, the one that escaped, he poured petrol on him. But by the time he tried to get the matches, he ran out. Imagine that.
That's a lot of frustration.
That's a frustrated man.
A lot of frustration and psychological problem.
Right. I want to talk about this Falaye story because he's an elder statesman that seems to have been troubled by this whole EFCC thing. The email, according to him, was sent from Anini, that's the BOT chair for PDP, saying that, listen, ex-president Jonathan had approved 100 million to be sent to him. So that evidence, according to him, shows that he wouldn't have known was some answer, that it was the BOT chair.
And over again.
He said over and over again.
Given money for the campaign, and he had no idea where it came from.
The man is almost 80 years old. It's just let the man rest.
What do you think the EFCC should do to fight this corruption? Because at the point we're in, we keep hearing them bickering over whether, I knew about those funds, I didn't know about those funds. Somebody that receives money, how am I supposed to know that the money came from, funds that were meant for security?
He wouldn't know. So it's the person that released the funds
that
was arrested, not him, not the recipient. The person who
is still under arrest, is still being held. So that means that they are still undergoing investigation. So let's just wait and see how it plays out.
Let's move on to The Nation. Buhari agrees to swap girls for Boko Haram detainees. Floods as 13 hours rain pound Lagos and properties were destroyed. SEC plans 5 billion naira capital market development fund. Ex-head of state, others named in 1 billion naira oil deal. All right, we're talking about Boko Haram or the flood. Yeah, the flood.
The rainfall, because the NEMA and the NIMET, the meteorological people had already announced a few weeks ago that the rains this year would be heavier than ever. And that if you live along the flood-prone areas, you should relocate from such areas. But we realized that the places that were shown are not even the set flood-prone areas. They're just regular places that do not take care of the proper drainages and all that. So apart from those flood-prone areas,
Lekki, Bariga,
it calls to the fall. These issues of Saturday telling me not to go out between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. because there's sanitation. People just sleep.
Yes.
I think what the government should do that would be more effective is that look for foot soldiers. Yes, the way they used to go around houses. Look for foot soldiers. Let them begin to check, because this flood now, what will worsen it if we do not properly clear up our gutters, that is what will worsen the flood. So instead of waiting to say Saturday, only one Saturday in a month, let the people start checking every vicinity and making sure that if your drainages are not clean, you are arrested.
Okay. Moving on to Vanguard. Niger Delta crisis. Again, Buhari vows to give militants Boko Haram treatment. Picture here of Dangote with others. I think they're inspecting the 6,000 one-bedroom IDP units that Dangote donated. That's fantastic work. Why budget padding occurs? Sheriff provoked Boko Haram insurgency, says Borno AG, Attorney General. Lack of investors' confidence responsible for economic challenges, says LCCI. And 500 billion naira poverty intervention fund. Federal government released only 20 billion, says special advisor.
We don't have money.
Okay, so
I want to talk about the IDPs, Mariah, because these people didn't plan for what happened to them. They were living their lives, and some way disaster met them, and they are now displaced within their own country. Dangote isn't the only richest person in this country. We have a lot of other people that are really rich. We have companies that are making millions out of this country that can give back in a direct way. This one couldn't have been subverted or diverted because it was building flats for them to live in. Please, other people that can afford it should step in and do the same.
Yeah, are you sure that in Nigeria now, people that are not...
they're still making money.
No, I'm even saying that people that are not affected by the Boko Haram directly, they will start moving into the IDP camps.
No, it's specifically for the IDPs. I'm sure they have the
I'm
government
just saying
has
that,
data,
they should get the right data of the people that are already in the IDP camps that will benefit from it. Because, there's nothing that is impossible.
But it's really well, it's a really welcome.
It's a fantastic idea.
I just hope more rich people.
And that's what we want the government to do. Before you tell people to move out of flood-prone areas, have you provided where they are going to stay?
Have they also cleaned their neighborhood to ensure that there's no flood?
No, in Niger State, for instance, it's not about cleaning up. Once the water level rises, there are some areas that you know that your house will be flooded.
Exactly. So you shouldn't be living in that area in the first place.
So provide an alternative for them, if that is the only thing they have.
Right. Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. We like to be fed in this country. Chibok. Buhari gives conditions for swap. Let's see. 5 militants, 2 soldiers killed in gun battle. Biafra can't be wished away, says Uwazirike. Flood reruns. Ikorodu Shogun Legbagada in Lagos. No cause for alarm, says Ambode. Why I blame Sheriff for Boko Haram violence, says Borno Attorney General. Baby, mom, 8 others die in Ibadan. Auto crash. Who has that story?
Chibok.
Yeah.
And it's been brought back to the front burner because of the video shown by Shekarau's faction, since they've been factionized. The federal government, via our president, is saying that if he knows that he's talking to the right people in Boko Haram, he's willing to swap some of their prisoners for the Chibok girls. Some analysts were wondering if we say that we have decapitalized them. What's that word? As in, you have handicapped them. How come we're still thinking about swapping with them? But they're also saying that it may be an intelligent thing to do. If these people who you captured were not willingly part of the team, you can use them for intelligence gathering.
And he also said that, listen, if you don't trust the federal government, just get an NGO. Tell Boko Haram, as he's telling Boko Haram, get an NGO to mediate between us if you don't want to come to us directly. But the idea is that he's willing to
release some of the soldiers, some of the prisoners for the girls. At least we were able to prove that some of the girls were in that video.
And there are people that the Boko Haram trusted, like this Wakili, lady, and then the journalist in Dubai. It's the way that we handled the situation that made these people step back. It wasn't like they didn't have trusted hands that could mediate between them and the government.
I read some article yesterday of the woman, the Wakili woman, accusing the head of the wife of Obama.
No, she just said that. Not really accusing her.
No, it was just a side comment that really made it
that
worse.
The fact that she picked one of the bring back our girls placard.
That she spoiled the whole arrangement.
Not directly,
so hopefully will help.
All right, let's take a break now. When we return, Our hot topic today, Governor El-Rufai says being a governor is the worst job to do. Do you agree with him? And on Let's Talk, we discuss the importance of immunity to governors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Now, according to the reports we got during the recent APC Governors Forum, Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State said that being a governor is the worst job to do. This is because they have to deal with inherited problems, which they have no hand in and have to solve it. However, some Nigerians have reacted to this statement, saying that the governor should step down and hand over his job if he can't do it. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 070-80668014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, this matter, he's just saying that, listen, being a governor is not an easy job. But people are saying, step down if you cannot do it.
That's according to him, though, because everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
What do you think generally of the job of a governor? Do you think it's the hardest job to do?
I think it's a very, very, very difficult job to do. Managing 2 people is difficult. Managing thousands of people is a whole lot more difficult. But I also have said over and over again that when you take up the position that you want to become a governor, it's because you believe you have the capacity to solve the problem that state is experiencing. So coming back to say that is the most difficult job, what were you expecting? That you're going to go there?
Yeah, but see,
it'll be a cup of tea.
Can you blame him? Because the truth is that one of the things I think we always talked about is that systems. We need if there's continuity. You can't. I don't think somebody is experiencing such a most difficult job because there's been some
because he had a good predecessor. What he's complaining is that he's inheriting problems. Ambode inherited a few challenges, but a fairly working system. So he was able to continue. When you're changing party, he's saying that he's meeting unreasonable debts and a whole lot of issues that he didn't create, and he can't even solve this with what is on ground.
Should it be partisan? I mean, even regardless of what party you're from, shouldn't you have the people's interest at heart so that no matter who comes in, at least there should be continuity in some areas? Because we see even Buhari, our President Buhari, continue some of the projects that ex-President Jonathan has started.
Because they were good.
The idea is that, so the issue of system, so do you blame the governor for complaining or do you just blame the system? Let me come to Jumoke.
I know of a governor who all the projects that he met on ground, he discontinued because the people knew that the previous governor started them. And if he completed them, there was no way that he wasn't going to be sharing the glory with the former governor. So he started his own. He's now stuck. He doesn't have funds. Now, El-Rufai is saying what everybody, including primary school children, know, that, governance is difficult. Of course, it is difficult. He is one governor that hit the ground running. He knew why he came there. And for him to use you inherit problems, of course, it was those problems that you highlighted and campaigned, telling us you wanted to solve. So, of course, we all knew there were problems. People voted you because they believed in your vision that you could solve those problems. Please, don't come and give us excuses. I totally agree. If you meet problems that are too many for you to handle, let someone else try.
But sometimes Jumoke doesn't look as if we expect so much. Like we expect them to do magic.
Yes.
Sometimes. No, why should you expect magic?
Why not? If you can't do magic, you better stay in your house. Yes.
They were not being realistic. Maybe we don't want governors. Maybe we should just be praying for
If it was any other governor that has not been active in governance, I would have said, please, excuses. But this is a governor that has been active, he's been working. So I'll take it as he's just venting his current frustration, because sometimes you just want to vent, sometimes you just want to cry.
I don't want to focus too much on him also, because I said he might be venting, but the issue I wanted us to focus on is that really
is governance hard?
Yes, and the people also understand the fact that this thing is hard.
Unfortunately, Mariah, we cannot divorce him from this issue. If you know El-Rufai correctly, El-Rufai, I mean, if you go to Abuja and you love what
master
you see,
plan,
the structure in Abuja, he was the orchestrator. He made it happen. he stepped on difficult toes to make sure that Abuja is the city that you are enjoying now. I want to believe that maybe he was quoted out of context. But for you to come out to say that governance is the worst job ever, I'm taken aback a bit. In governance, the reason someone will call you a great leader is because you have solved a problem that seemingly was unsolvable. Okay. So that is what governance, that is what leadership is about. It's about solving problems. So you coming out to say that
it's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job. Of course, everybody knows it's not an easy job.
So if we know it's not
the guy is just venting.
Let me take this call.
So let's let him vent.
Larry, are you there from Surulere?
Yeah, I'm here.
Please go ahead. Do you agree with Governor El Rufai?
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Today, it sounds like people tell the truth. But I'm not sure El Rufai never said he was not giving excuses like Jumoke said. He never excused. What I'm not sure if I was just trying to tell you that governance is difficult in a setting like this, in this kind of culture. We have a very difficult culture. That's why you see most people don't like continue projects that predecessors started. For example, President Muhammadu Buhari vowed to finish all projects started by ex-President Jonathan. But you see people starting trading. Jonathan did it, just did that. So it's very unfortunate. You have a very nasty culture. That is why what Madam Nasieva was actually saying is, it is very difficult. Governance is difficult. You do this, which you know that is good for the people. But people will come against you thinking what you're doing is bad. So he's trying to say that, it's not easy to make decisions as governors. We that we've been leading in our classrooms, in our community, know what you are facing. Whenever people will come back biting you. Right. So it's not like what he said. The man is on point, he's right on point, and I think I support him.
Thank you, Larry.
He raised a valid point. He said that suddenly when our president finishes Jonathan's work, they say, it's not you that did it, it's Jonathan that did it.
May I say why? Because when they were campaigning, they made it seem like the present president at the time, Jonathan, wasn't doing anything. So when you now come and finish his project, they'll be like, Shebi, you said he wasn't doing anything. You see, how come you are finishing his project?
Jumoke, shouldn't we focus more on the fact that a project is complete rather than who completes the project? As a leader, you shouldn't be bothered if somebody is not giving you what's it called, the accolades that okay, this is my job or this is your job. Leadership is beyond personal interest, and when you're talking about leadership, it has to be about the people. So what El Rufai should focus on, instead of saying that the PDP government left him so much debt and all that, it is, how do I get innovative? Hold on. He's allowed to vent. How do I get creative and innovative that I would generate? Because you see, part of the problem that they are having is all this waiting for federal allocation. It is inventing yourself and saying how I can change the
But you have a phone call.
But go ahead.
I was going to say that, and I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. Peter, are you there from Agodo?
Yeah, Peter from Agodo. Good morning.
Go ahead, Peter. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I want to contribute to what you just saying this morning.
Yes.
My first thing, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
It's delayed.
Yeah, I want to contribute to what you are saying.
Please go ahead.
Most of these governors, when they were coming in, never emphasized that they're going to have a problem like this. They never thought of having to meet this kind of problem. You talk of Ambode, Lagos is rich compared to other states. So you can't compare Lagos to other states. So what El Rufai is saying is the truth, because he never emphasized that they're going to have such problem on ground.
All right.
So please, what we need to do, let's be constructive in whatever we are saying. Some of these governors came into power, they never emphasized that they're going to have this kind of problem.
Okay, you have to picture yourself 3 times.
All right,
now.
point. Thanks, Peter. I don't want to focus so much on the part of what Rufai said. I wanted to switch over to the people. Because we demand so much. I mean, some governors, like even the Imo State governor, was trying to say,
we're going to farming for 2 days.
Yes, was trying to be innovative, and people say, oh no, you can't do this. Every little thing they're trying to do, they're comparing. Can't we, the people, understand that this is a very difficult job for these people? And when they bring things out, let us even support them instead of being so cynical by
when I see the entourage of the governor, when I see the large life the governor is living, and I see the way I am feeling and how I'm having to cut down on a lot of things because of the economic situation, then I would not want to understand whatever the governor is saying. So I have to see equal sacrifice on the part of my leader.
By example.
Yes.
Okay, let me take Adeyemi from Ijebu Igbo. Adeyemi, are you there?
I'm there.
Please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that on the issue of flood, that there is a need for us to you see, we have been talking about enlightenment for people in order to make them stop blocking drainages. I think it's equally very imperative for us to criminalize those actions. You see, just enlightenment, we have had enough enlightenment. You see government going on radio, on television to do that. Why not enforce the law? Look, you go abroad, you see very clean, tidy environment. It is because the laws there are working. Our laws must be made to work. And then the fair lady, I think almost in the middle there, talked about this issue of house inspectors. We have had that in the past, and they should be made to be functional. And every other actions that must be taken to make people do the right thing must be put in place. That is one. Then on the aspect of leadership, with respect to El-Rufai, you see, there is the need for us to face frontally the situation that Nigeria is presently confronted with. And leadership is about responsibilities. So we should take the horn by the bull by the horn and face the reality of our situation and encourage followership that will bring about effective leadership for Nigeria to thrive.
Thank you very much, Adeyemi.
3 quick points.
Yes.
President Buhari doesn't look like someone who cares who the accolade goes to as far as the project is done. I didn't think he bothered himself when he went to inaugurate the railway from Kaduna to Abuja. He doesn't care. Secondly, when a governor says, for instance, you are talking about governor of Imo. As a governor, you should expect that not all your decisions will be accepted by everyone. Yes. What you need to do is always feel the pulse of the people. Don't always assume that you know what they want.
Gotcha.
Town hall meetings. This is what we want to do. Do you agree with it? You will then feel 40% to 60%. What do the majority want? Okay. But it's not everybody who will agree with you. Thirdly, on El-Rufai's matter of somebody saying that governance is hard, we all know that it's hard. And if you have done your homework well, you knew what the problems were. You can't tell me that economy is bad, we don't have allocation. By January last year, all of us knew that Nigeria was going broke. They were borrowing to pay salaries. So did you come up with innovative ideas? Yeah. I think El-Rufai did. Okay. You know? Right, so don't give us excuses, just govern.
I think I'd like to close on the fact that Tokwe said leading by example is key, because if you see that your leader understands the issues and is working according to those issues and is living according to the challenges, people will maybe adjust themselves and respect and accept whatever you say. All right, that's all we can take.
Without taking tweets?
We can't take any tweets, unfortunately. Let's take a break. When we come back, the importance of immunity clause to governors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Now, according to reports, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC President Comrade Ayuba Waba, said governors should be stripped of the immunity clause because nobody is above the law. He went further to say that all citizens are equal, but before the law, and the fact that governors are privileged to provide leadership does not mean they are above the law. Now, how important is this immunity clause to governors? Joining us to discuss this is a political and public affairs analyst and social commentator, Mr. Adeniyi Taiwo Kunu. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Good to have you. I hear your wife watches our show a lot.
She's addicted to it. And that's my mom as well.
Oh, wow.
Cool. So
our regards to them.
Oh, no qualms about
now, now, on this issue, this immunity clause, we've been discussing it for how many years now? Yeah. You know, governors, what are your thoughts on it? Do you agree with Waba, or do you think it should be retained?
Well, Nigeria is peculiar for lots of tantrums on the political sphere. But I think it could make some sense if we look at the foundation of the entire immunity discourse. There is a Latin word that is rex non potest pecare. The implication of that is the king can commit no wrong. That's the foundation of it's an anachronistic legal principle, actually, that in the name of the Crown Proceedings Act in 1947, it was thrown out because much of the democracy or the system of governance that we practice, modern system of governance, not particularly our democracy, which is fashioned after the American system, actually, is taken from the British people. So that has been thrown out since 1947, but the ghost still haunts us here in this country. So let's look at that as the foundation of the immunity discourse. Coming home to Nigeria, the particular case that resulted in the first talk about it was in 1985, Mrs. Olufumila Ransom Kuti versus the Attorney General of the Federation. Now, the position was that you could not hold the government responsible for what the agents of governance actually did. But it was said that that does not support the immunity that is given, particularly when people commit certain crimes. Let's not make it pretty complex. Now, if you're talking about the governors, the reason why the immunity clause is there is to address issues associated with distractions, particularly. Now, this makes me go straight to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Let's go to 308, leave 1. Let's go to A. It says that no civil or criminal case shall be instituted or continued against anybody that this particular section actually applies to. We're talking about the citizens of this country. That's 308(1)A. It says it shall not be instituted, civil or criminal, against anybody. Now,
you mentioned continued.
Continued. So if, for instance, so listen to me. If, for instance, a sitting governor, such as we have many of them, committed a crime, recorded on all the social medias, May 28, and the court is to open May 29, 11 a.m., and the person was sworn in 10:45 or 10:55, that case will be discontinued. That's the first part.
Sir, can it be continued after its tenure?
Most definitely. It could be continued because there are lots of interpretations that have come after that particular position. Now, when you leave A, you come to B. That B talks about the fact that the person to whom this particular section of the Constitution applies cannot be arrested or imprisoned. So that tells you that if a governor beats somebody's wife mercilessly
or rapes somebody,
it's going to be serious contention to have that person go to jail. When you leave B, you come to C. It says no process shall actually be put in place to compel these officers to what? To actually go or appear in court. That's no process shall, that's what the Constitution says. So it simply tells you.
The Constitution.
So that's 1 A, B, C. Now, if you look at all of this, if you now left A, B, C and go to D, no D there. You go to 2 now. Now that 2 parts tells us that there are exceptions to that particular ABC. And it is that if there are civil cases against the person sitting, such as we have the tax brouhaha in Abia State of Ikpeazu, or if there are cases in which the person in question is a nominal party, in the sense that maybe some persons committed crime, and they said, the governor of Comoros State is also part of it, you could actually say, okay, appear. These are exceptions. But you see, the beauty of this is over time, there has been cases where these things have actually been dealt with. Let me go to 2001, when Ade Okikeolu Olusegun Obasanjo appeared at the Oputa panel. Now, he actually said one thing there. That the reason that he has come to the Oputa panel, of course, the Constitution gives him all of the backing that he wouldn't appear for the period of time he finds himself there, is that he's been finding it very difficult to deal with corruption cases. And as a result of that, he stripped himself first, appeared at the Oputa panel, said all he had to do. But every other person, perhaps the military dictators, did not appear because, according to the law, you cannot be compelled. But let's look at it. They're called ex-military dictators. Perhaps the law suddenly lost its teeth And as a result of that, it could not bite those persons that were no longer in power. So, yes, please.
Now, 308(1)(b mentioned imprisoned and what's the word? Arrested. It skipped investigated, which is what the EFCC is using.
Which is the CPA, the
As
process.
a matter of fact, that is a very fantastic angle to it, because if you really read these portions of the Constitution carefully, you'd find out that there is nothing at all that
about
says somebody should not be investigated. Let's go straight to Ekiti now and analyze the file.
Well, you mentioned the CPA that says any process that might lead.
So investigation is
No, the point is compel. You see, the point remains that when you analyze, we could move between English language and law, the semantics and syntax of the entire constitutional expression, you'd find out that there is no word in all of these quotations that I've referred to that says investigated. They said compelled. So as long as compel means to be forcefully brought to court. But investigation, you could go ahead, for instance, if you're talking about Freedom of Information bill here, you could actually employ all of the necessary gadgets of the law to, to extract what is needed. Because if we analyze the Fayose case to start with, let us look at the levels that has resulted, or the levels that have resulted in why Fayose himself is not free. At first, they said his accounts could not be accessed. He rushed to the bank with all of the gendarmes and wanted to more or less cow them into doing it. They said, well, EFCC didn't allow him. But let's look at it. He first of all told us that the monies used for his campaign was more or less Zenith Bank. In the first place, let's look at the EFCC Act, let's look at the money laundering law. How much of that money was transferred or moved? Does it mean that taxpayers' money or people's money kept in the vaults of Zenith Bank? Because there are lots of contraventions of the law, even from the things that he said. So if we analyze each of those things, you'd find out that Fayose has actually jumped from fry pan to fire, even as a sitting governor, when he's claiming that he has a right not to be. No, EFCC could actually investigate him and keep all of the investigations in
until he leaves office.
And immediately he stepped out at the end of his tenure. God help him, knows
yes, and he has told them, please wait to 2018.
So the immunity clause being taken out. Because if we as a country are trying to fight corruption, and you have included in the law that even if a sitting president or governor is guilty of corrupt practices, he can just say, based on the immunity, I am not. I will remain in power. Shouldn't we, if we really mean to fight corruption, take out that law just to ensure that we deal with the root cause of all the crises in this country?
This puzzle takes me to 2014, where the 306 federal constituencies actually took a voting positions. That's 2012. 2012. First, out of the 306 federal constituencies, 225 voted that immunity clause be jettisoned. 150-something voted that it should be left, while 3 persons abstained from voting. 2012 to 2013, 2013 to 2014, 2014 to 2015, what are the lawmakers doing that they've not, what are they doing that they've not been able to take a step further to address after that voting? Thank you. Now let us go to the heavily criticized national conference instituted by the Jonathan administration in 2014. Much of the persons who sat said, this thing is not allowing the wheel of justice grind as fast and as appropriately as it should. As a result of that, could we just expunge it because it's making the lives of Nigerians miserable? The Jonathan administration is out of government. The Buhari administration is here at the moment, and it appears as if the people who should do the right things are toothless.
Okay, let me pause you there because we're going to take a break. When we come back, she raised an issue concerning that fighting corruption. So with this immunity clause, what's the future? How do we even
we'll get to talk about
get to ensure that what we can get the National Assembly to do play their own part in getting the laws so that we can fight corruption properly.
Fantastic.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back.
Now, welcome back. Let's take some questions from the Twitter.
Kuti Malik says, we may as well jettison the immunity clause. Governors still are distracted with various election petition cases. There's a question from Olufemi K. Is immunity clause really the problem, or we just like to play to the gallery? How many of our ex-governors are in jail today?
Well, I do not have an account of any that has actually slept a night in jail. And if you look at the political unfoldings over time, you'd find out that a major figure that actually visited the Kirikiri prison happens to be Bode George, where he spent limited time. I was given 2 years, but we know that the calendar of prisons doesn't run like the everyday calendar that we have. Those who are so definitely didn't spend up to that time. But if you look at it, we have cases of persons that have stolen with anything that is beyond gross impunity. We've got many persons who have blatantly violated the laws of the land. And it is the reason why you'd have the likes of all of the politicians, who particularly those at the Senate, who really expect that they should have done something. You see everybody moving with the Senate leader instead of doing the roles or their duties that they really were elected, even so they were elected for the records here, to perform. So it is pretty unfortunate that in recent times, lawyers have become accomplices. Judges have become accomplices. Talking about...
let me pause you for a second. Okay, sorry, please. I have a call from Wari. Tero, are you there? Tero, good morning.
Hello? Yes, hello, good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Go ahead, Tero.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay, good morning. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly. It's delayed, but
okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, I feel that it's unfortunate that most of our officials...
Oh, yikes. Okay,
Mariah asked the question about what do we need to do moving forward concerning the...
I think the first thing is to be very serious about the constitutional amendments, and that's why the national conference organized by the Jonathan administration is a very difficult conference to agree with, because before you started the conference, you said that there are areas you do not go to. So that, in the first place, weakens the authenticity of the particular conference and for whatever purpose that has been instituted.
And they also didn't have legal backing.
And that's another thing. And do not forget that everybody who was appointed or nominated to represent certain group earned a minimum of 3-4 million a month for the entire period, which was, of course, was also postponed by a couple of months. So all of those things, if you really want to do something that people see it as selfless, what you have to address must begin with the people perspective position, because the people evidently are more. We're talking about what we must do. I think those who must come to equity must do that with clean hands. That's why between 1999 and 2016, about 54 judges or justices have actually been relieved or compulsorily retired. As we speak, some persons are really visiting the courts because they also
are culpable.
they're culpable in all of this.
All right, let me take Yakub. Yakub, are you there?
I'm here,
please go ahead. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning to you all, and then good morning to your guests.
Thank you very much.
Let me go straight to the point. Morayo, you see, it is unfortunate that we have this kind of House of Representatives and the Senate, as so to say, because they are not there for the benefit of all Nigerians. They are there for themselves. Why am I saying that? What makes them not to pass that law? According to your guest this morning, they have already started the law for them to remove that immunity totally, because that immunity, all those governor and deputy governor and even the president and the vice president, they are always hiding under that immunity. Let me give you an example. You mentioned Fayose earlier. See, Morai, I can bet you, Fayose is not telling Nigeria that they should wait until his tenure finish. Before the tenure finish, 3 days to that tenure finish, you will not see Fayose in this country.
Thank you, Yakub. Let me hang it there.
Because you see, the whole essence for the immunity clause is for them to actually govern. For us to see visible results, to say that this work, they are doing something and no distractions.
Yes.
How do we measure that these people are doing, at least, even for the fact that, okay, yes, there's immunity clause, they are still not working. So can we not just expunge this thing? Because we can't measure that they're working.
Yeah. Let's take all the tweets together so we can answer all together.
Kuti Malik says, taking out the immunity clause may even make our governors more reasonable and accountable. He also says that our legislators that should jettison the immunity clause appear to be more interested in having the cover too. Yes. Today Lawal blog says, immunity clause for governors should be restructured and the constitution should be amended. Olubiyi Eleito says, our guest today is simply what you call calm, well enlightened, analytical and magical public tutor. We need to bring more.
All right, so I need to echo what Uwa just said because if we're going to have a clause, now can we, the people, push the members of the National Assembly to put, in addition to that, Section 1, A, B, C, D, where if you are not doing your work, that clause can be removed from you because obviously the reason why you are there is to do your work, right? To focus. And if you're not focusing, if you see that you're actually not getting any job done, we can actually say, you know what?
What are the parameters to know that you're working?
What are the parameters? What do we measure?
I think the first thing we must realize is that there is a stick in the wheel that is moving, and it's the fact that the law has to remain supreme, and anything we want to do to effect a change must be done according to the procedures of the law. There must be an amendment, and there's always a procedure towards achieving that amendment. And every representative within the whole of power, particularly those who are supposed to know what they should do, talk about the senators and House of Rep members, they really have a responsibility to call for that. It is something they could even do before anybody says Jack Robinson. But are they really ready to do that for the people? Because
they are looking for immunity themselves.
Thank you. Because, okay, we'll resort to talking about the Legislative Proceedings Act that actually gives them limited immunity. And their limited immunity has to do with when they are at work on the floor. If they lie against somebody, accusing somebody wrongly, you cannot take them to court because they believe that happened within the hallowed chambers. So moving forward, I think what must be done is for every knowledgeable Nigerian to really know that you have a right of recall to start with. No matter how cumbersome that process is, your right of recall should be engineered, and that is why the problems of this country will burst up if educated people come outside. See, many persons, because they could afford 3 square meals, feel, what's my business?
Exactly.
You will be ruled and controlled by miscreants, by touts, and if you violate the law, they send you to jail with all the food you can eat, and you stay foodless. So the educated people must know that it will help resolve the problems of this country if they stake their claims time and again.
Okay, I think I'd like to round up now, but before we get to the point of recall, I think maybe we should bring you back towards 2019, because one thing we've said at this table several times is that we were foolish enough to think that all we needed to focus on the executive as a voter. A lot of Nigerians focus on the executive, forgetting that the real people which are concerned about the senators and the House of Reps. So I think we could bring you back to help us understand who and who should we vote for 2019?
And what's the procedure for recall?
What should we, before we get to the point of recall, we shouldn't even get them back there in the first place. What should we be looking out for? Because recalling actually is a long process. What should we look out for to make you eligible to be a senator, a member of the House of Reps, and to be a senator? So we're going to bring you back.
I'll be
Thank you very much.
To do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Full twice.
2019,
we are ready
very much
for
for your time.
All right, that's what we can take on the show. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.